All right. Good morning. Welcome to another Friday morning safety meeting. We're 90 days without a recordable, 50 days without a first aid, and 24 days without an at-fault vehicle incident. Safety shout out this week over the global crew. We have people from every discipline that we do in every market, and everybody's doing the right thing, being very safe, and let's keep that up on that crew and everywhere else. They were going to talk about mobile elevated work platforms, or Mewps. So the big ones that we're going to be using are scissor lifts and boom lifts. As you can see in this picture, we use both. Your biggest hazards associated with them are falls, objects falling, tip overs, structural failures, electric shock, entanglement, and ejections from a lift. Think a catapult or a trebuchet. Only trained and authorized personnel are allowed to operate Mewps. We do have a couple of jobs coming up where they will be required. And a lot of times when we use them, they're being used from a somewhat elevated position. So they could be up on top of a bridge abutment or something like that. So you do have an increase of fall distance. You can contact Matt or myself for any training needs. For fall protection, for boom lifts, you need to use a body harness all the time with a lanyard. You want to stand firmly on the floor. Only tie off the manufactured approved points in the basket, which will be those little not angled, but little swooping pieces in the corners of the basket. You do not want to tie, or you cannot tie off to adjacent structures. For scissor lifts, you need to stand firmly on the floor, and fall protection may be necessary in certain situations. So if you can't be with 4 on the floor using the guardrail, then you need to be tied off. Some of them do have tie off points, some of them don't. If they don't have approved tie off points, you can't tie off to them. And I have a little picture of a trebuchet because with boom lifts, that's the biggest hazard. And there was a video associated with this presentation, but it wouldn't stamp through. But it doesn't take much when you're way out there 60 feet on a boom lift, and the one tire goes up a little bit and comes down a little bit, and that's a lot of movement down at the end, and people get launched. And that's why you need to tie off. So when you're operating them, you do not want to exceed the load capacity limits. Do not exceed vertical or horizontal reach limits. You want to stay away from overhead power lines. And before you fire one of these up, you really need to do a good 360 look around to see what there are for overhead power and other hazards. Same with uneven ground. You do not override safety devices and keep the lift on level, flat ground all the time. Best practices are to run Mewps through a full range of functions while close to the ground. So that way you don't realize you don't have a function when you're high up in the air. You want to ensure they're fueled up all the way before you use them, because if you run out of fuel, it can be hard to get down to the ground. You want to take your time, especially if you don't run them frequently. If you're working around something that's sensitive to being bumped or whatever, you really want to kind of give it a little practice run before you get close to it. Does anybody have anything to add?
Are seeing a high frequency in citations on these things. A lot of it is running them when the alarms are going off. So, and that's usually because you're not on flat ground. So listen to all the audible alarms. Don't override those. They're meant to keep you safe. So find that flat ground, reposition. Make sure before we deploy these, if it's on, especially with frozen ground that we have now, if we need to, feather in some more material to get it level, let's take the time and do it right the first time.
Yeah, we have 2 of these, right? We own 2.
Yeah.
And ours are tracked, but sometimes we rent the ones that have the tires, which are a little bit. There's a way you can lock. When you lock those, I remember it locks the wheels, the axles, so that they're hopefully a little more stable. Were you able to get Christine's audio working yet?
She's on, but
Yeah.
I don't think she's. I don't know. It's hard to know what's going on.
Okay.
I haven't been able to get a hold of her. So I would say let's progress and maybe
Okay.
we'll try again next week or the following week if her
Well,
schedule allows.
feel free to watch this. If we can't hear you, Christine, feel free to watch our morning thing and then we'll figure it out. Okay. I gotta share my screen. When I get down to the giving part, Sarah's on, so I'll have her do that portion. So let's go down through can you see my screen?
Yep.
Is it working?
Yep.
All right. Code of conduct item this week. I backed up a few because I wanted to have this one on here. Strive to maintain a positive and professional image of ECI, our employees, clients, vendors, and subcontractors, all that we work with and all the people that see us out there. Our reputation, it's a major asset and it's determined by what we say and do. So put this together last night when I was thinking about this. How can we reflect our commitment to being professional? Practice respectful and thoughtful communication. The way we communicate plays a big part in shaping our image as individuals and as a company. Professional communication provides others with a clear message, and it gives others a sense of our culture and our priorities. So think before you communicate, organize your thoughts logically, and with the intent of delivering a clear message and a clean message, and keep it about the issue or the topic rather than saying or writing something that is likely to be taken as a personal attack, which creates a lot more work and it masks the problem that we're trying to deal with. So be calm, courteous, and respectful. And as employee owners, we owe it to ourselves and each other to communicate with honor and respect. Practice respectful and thoughtful communication, and that demonstrates our integrity and it supports our mission. So let's try to be professional out there every day in everything that we do. I reran this one. The equipment focus is just seeing a little bit of idling again out there. So, all right, follow our idling policy. Don't idle the equipment unnecessarily. The diesel engine should be allowed to warm up before use in cold weather. 5 minutes should be enough. After heavy use, make sure to allow these engines to cool down a little bit before you turn them off. Gas engines, they usually require a little bit less time to warm up. They warm up quicker. Avoid that heavy throttle and idling excessively does run up the hours. Plus, it wastes fuel and it's harder on the engine. It's especially true in the Tier 4, the newer Tier 4 diesel engines. Let's see, McKinney on? I think he is now. Anything to add on the idling stuff, Ben? If you're on and able to talk. Okay. I'll keep moving. Aaron, I don't know if you're on this morning. Aaron, no, she's not on yet. So the contribution limits for 2026 for the 401k and the HSA have gone up again. You can read this little blurb that Aaron put together, but basically the amount of money that you take out of your check and you put into your 401k pre-tax every week, the limits have gone up. For the 401ks, there is, let's see, it looks like the maximum for people that are over 60 is now 35,750 that you can put in a year. That's pretty cool. The HSAs, if you read this table, you can see that the HSA limits have gone up to 4,400 for a single and 8,750 for a double or a family. That's all pre-tax stuff that you can put into your HSA. And if you're in that age group, 55 and older, there's some higher limits, 5,400 and then almost $10,000 to put into that HSA. There's a link here on the email that you people can click for the to get to the forms. So if you haven't adjusted your limits to put money in your 401k, Erin's phone number and her email's right here. I encourage everyone right now at the beginning of the year, it's a good time to go down and look what's on your pay stub, look what you're taking out, and then make the adjustments. The best way to do it is to figure out how much you want to put in the year and then divide it up and do a little bit every week. So reach out to Erin if you got questions on that. I didn't put this in last week. It happened a couple of weeks ago, but congratulations to Tyler McNally. He's been promoted to assistant. He's an assistant service manager now. He's been really instrumental in maintaining our fleet of heavy trucks and equipment, and he has become an integral part of our service and maintenance team since he joined us last year. So make sure to congratulate him on his new role. I believe we have 2 assistant service managers now. He and I believe Chico has got the same title. It's pretty cool. Glad to have him. Sarah, are you on?
I am.
Would you like to say anything about the giving? I left my blurb, or our blurb that explained it all here, but I don't believe we got Christine's audio.
Well, I have her on my cell phone.
Okay.
I'm going to put her on speaker.
There you go. I knew you'd figure something out.
Let's see if you can. Go ahead, Christine.
Yeah, you'll probably have to turn off your speaker because it's doing feedback loop.
Well, Sarah,
turn
you
it down.
can't be muted though. Yeah, this isn't gonna work because of the audio back feed's gonna be bad.
Okay.
I hate to do it, but if she wants to record something, we could add it. If she
Okay.
could record a little talk on her phone, like via like text message to you, I could then throw it into the recording that we'll send out later today.
Okay.
Might be the best thing to do at this point.
Okay. I'll have her do that.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But I'll put on my classic Mike Lawyer Foundation hat on.
Okay.
So I'm the treasurer of the Classic Mike Lawyer Foundation. So I just want to thank everybody for donating the $9,300. A few examples of what we did this winter was there's a Head Start program in Burlington. We were able to clothe a bunch of kids from head to toe in winter gear. We donated to 5 different food shelves around the state. Franklin County, Grand Isle County, Chittenden County, Washington County, and Addison County. We sent them all $3,000 to help out, between Thanksgiving and New Year's. So that helped out. We were able to send a woman, her husband, her son, to Minneapolis. She had a brain tumor. They couldn't really afford it, so we're sending them. They leave on Sunday to go and try to get some treatment out there. So the $9,300 goes a long way within our community, and I just want to thank everybody from the Classic Mike Lawyer Foundation. We should, as a company, be proud. We are just shy of $50,000 donating back into our community, including the $11,000 in clothing sales. That's a lot of money, and we should, as a company, be really proud of ourselves. And I just want to thank everybody.
Yeah, and thank you, Sarah. Make sure to thank the Mike Lawyer, all the people that do all that work, good work for the Mike Lawyer Foundation. When you see them, I'm sure you will soon, including Tom, who's probably on, but thank them for what they do, because they've helped a lot of us at ECI over the years with little issues, and sometimes it's a small thing, sometimes it's a big thing. But one thing I'll say for the Classic Mike Lawyer Foundation is anytime we've reached out with an issue that we needed some help with, they've always helped. And
Yep.
every time they help, they always help more than what we ask for, because they identify little things that are gonna, wow, you're gonna need this and you're gonna need that. They like to help you, or they like to help people in an appropriate way and not leave people short. So thank you. And thank you for what you do for the Mike Lawyer Foundation too, Sarah.
My pleasure.
Okay. And maybe we can figure out how to get Christine on next week. It is nice. It is
We'll
nice
get it
to
figured out.
Yeah, maybe we do a test teams or something, and
Yep.
that'd be great. So I did leave this on here, Sarah, for this week, so everyone could see over the years what we've given. And Sarah and I, we worked to try to we got us back to 2016, but we know that we gave even before 2016.
Yeah.
So next year we're gonna be above 50 grand for everything.
We are.
So thank you, Sarah. Okay. Let's see. Am I still sharing my screen?
Yes.
No.
Yes, you are.
Okay, good. So Mark Peliquin, are you on?
I am.
All right. Mark, if you can run us through the project of the week. I actually thought this was cool that I saw that we did this, because I forgot we were doing this work, and it was kind of cool to see what we did over there. So I'll let you, I'll drive if you want.
Sure. So it's kind of projects. This was 2 separate projects. One was the Holiday Inn / Puccinella's restaurant in South Burlington, and then Fairfield and Waterbury. Larkin Hospitality contracted with ECI to do some sidewalk improvements in South Burlington at their Holiday Inn and Puccinella's restaurant sites. The sidewalk improvements also included a new stamped concrete apron for the veranda at the Holiday Inn Express. Randy Dow and crew worked with Ron and Todd on the concrete, Jim and Daryl on the paving, and with the survey crew, because there's a few different spots where it was very critical. We had the grades such that they would drain. It was not necessarily a flat site, but they just were tough to get them to drain. So Richard and Mike and Gunner and Mike Silva went down there and surveyed a few different times to make sure we got it right. And good news is we do. There were no puddles. It came out really nice.
Yeah, that's tough on a restaurant or a hotel when you're stepping in puddles to try to get in the door.
Yeah, so this is one of the spots where grade was critical, where you can see we were excavating out the current sidewalk here and prepping it for sub base. There's next one's a photo of Randy and Richard and Zach Hoisington in the background, with the gentleman in the front ground with no safety stuff was actually our customer. He was very involved in the project. Dave Smith, actually, he ran the VTANG post over here at the airport and told us numerous times how he was very, very appreciative of what ECI did as far as giving for the guard folks. So kind of a feather in our cap there.
Yeah.
This is above that area where you saw us digging down below. This was some drainage issues they had up above that Randy fixed, tied this into their footing drains, and gave them a standpipe here to get rid of some drainage issues they had. This is a photo of the same area after Randy got it all stoned in, looking back uphill. This is some sidewalk we replaced. Basically, there was this had settled, which is why most of the sidewalk was getting replaced. It had settled like anywhere from 2 to 4 inches. So there was a 2 to 4 inch lip when you stepped out that door down to the sidewalk. Obviously, a tripping hazard, and part of the reason why the project was done. This is in front of Puccinella's. Part of it was building a pad, and we didn't do the stairs. PC Special Projects did those, of course, being carpenters. Here's Randy That's Randy with doing the sonotubes for the supports for the stairs. We had to put in some temporary stairs here from a fire protection standpoint, so that's what those are. This was right after they poured the sidewalk. They got the stairs back in to give them fire access for the weekend. They didn't use this as their main entrance during the time, obviously, but they from the fire marshal reviewed it, and obviously they had to have 2 exits. So this is what we came up with. We found those stairs, interestingly enough. To rent them was going to be like $2,500, and I asked the vendor how much was it to buy them. It was like $3,000, and of course, by the time you pay the shipping fee out and back, it was going to be more than $3,000. So we just bought them. Here's Mr. Stedman doing some fine repair work on one of the spots there that the customer had asked us just to pour a little bit further than what was expected. The thing is, a lot of this stuff really didn't have plans. We kind of engineered it on the fly. So sometimes we'd do something, and Dave, like I said, Dave Smith there from Larkin was heavily involved. He'd say, this isn't quite what I was thinking. So we'd go back and add some like in this case, you can see that we added a little bit of wet. So Kevin's making it all blend nicely. And there's you can see the stairs that PC did in the background there with our portable stairs out front. Those stairs are all done with handrails today, and we have our portable stairs back in our office here. This is the veranda with the stamped concrete that the concrete guys did. You can see they have the plastic in the background so that we didn't get concrete spatter all over the building.
Wow, that looks it doesn't look like, it looks like real brick.
Yeah.
Pavers.
Here we ended up getting some paving added. They decided to pave a little bit further than what we originally had priced. You can see there we're cutting I don't know if that's Zach. I think it's Zach pushing the saw, cutting for some base that will go in there. This is the other side from where Zach just was, where we prepped and got all the sub base prep for the approach to the veranda. And here's the crew doing a trimmer joint for a tie-in. We did a base lift and a top, so they wanted a trimmer joint to tie it all in. And there's that same area with the final pavement. Came out really nice. Paving guys did a nice job paving this. And there's the opposite side. The second part of this was the project in Waterbury at the Fairfield Inn. Here they contracted us to remove some failing permeable precast concrete slabs that were obviously part of their stormwater plan here. Project consisting of excavating the failed slabs out and replacing them with permeable brick pavers and granite curb edging. Also included in the project was vacuuming out some of the silt built up in the nearby catch basins. Randy and crew removed the slabs and prepared the sub base for the installation of the granite curb and brick pavers. We hired a subcontractor to do the curb and pavers. Then the paving crew did come in and do the finishing touches with a patch along the newly installed curb and pavers. Unfortunately, I don't have a photo of that paving, but they did a super beautiful job. The Larkin was more than happy with the work we did at both their facilities. Here's a picture of the finished sub base. And that was all a clean stone because of the permeability of the pavers that were put on top. Again, it was part of their stormwater plan. Here they're excavated down to put in the curb that acted as the edging for the pavers. And there's a photo of, you can see the silt buildup inside of these structures, which I believe if you read any of the stormwater plans for anybody on any of these sites, it would tell you you have to go back and clean these. And a lot of them don't go back and clean them out. So years after years of silt buildup. I think this facility is like 10 years old. So you can see that over 10 years, it certainly built up inside that structure.
Probably never been cleaned out before.
I'm sure it hadn't.
Oh, wow.
Here's a picture of the final curb with the pavers. Really came out nice. Again, the client was super happy. I wish I had a picture of that paving because the paving really came out superb. And there's the back through the permeable pavers.
Wow. Pretty cool. I think that was it. That's pretty awesome. Thanks, Mark. That's an upgrade.
Yeah. Yeah, the slabs, the precast slabs they had. Precast concrete just doesn't work in Vermont. It just ends up pulverizing and turning into powder. Just not a good use here in Vermont.
Yep. Well, I'd be happy with that if that was my place.
Yeah, and the other issue they had with their precast slabs was there was rebar in them. So you can imagine as the slabs started breaking down, they had these trip hazards with rebar everywhere. So they just had to get rid of it.
Cool. Well, thanks, Mark. Good job, guys. Awesome. I found these photos. Been doing these box culverts, and I just found this one on the Middlebury box that we did back in 2009, which was kind of cool to find because it shows how long we've been doing these box culverts. So I popped a few photos in there. I think that was Larry Sullivan that did that ran that job, and Chris Belanger. But just some cool pictures. I put an assortment of them in there. I thought that was kind of cool to find. I found that in one of the folders. So we got quite a few of those things under our belt now. And some of those people are still here, I see. So anyway, it's 6:58. And it's probably about time we get to work. So I'll turn it back over to Matt. And Tom.
Thanks everybody for participating in our technical difficulties. We'll try better next time.
Yeah.
Let's kick over to Tom or myself the attendance if you're in a group setting. I've already seen a couple of text messages that come through, so thank you. So we can capture that for our kind of annual training on mobile elevated work platforms. Again, this is kind of a scratch the surface awareness, but there'll be field training done for cards, like Tom mentioned. But let's have a safe day. Let's have a productive day. Let's work together.
Thanks, Matt. Have a good day, everybody.
Drive safe.